Hello. The question now is, what is the difference between biomedical sciences and biological sciences? And that's a very good question. They're both degrees that begin with a broad-based first year, and on both degrees you can then go on to specialise in different areas by the time you graduate. And they're both degrees that you should certainly consider if your biggest interest at the moment is in biosciences or the science of life. But that's a very big area, and there's plenty of room for different focuses and different specialisations within that. So to try and explain where those lie with respect to biological sciences and biomedical sciences, I've produced this Venn diagram, which I'll now click to. There we are. So here we have biological sciences on the top and biomedical sciences below. That's alphabetical. That's not to say one's above the other. And you can see that in the shared area, in both of these degrees, you can choose to specialise in the area of cell and molecular biology, also developmental biology, how cells become multicellular organisms. And that's because those subjects underpin all living things, all living systems. So you can want to know about those from both biomedical and biological perspectives. However, they're different in the other areas that you can choose to specialise. So you can see with the biomedical sciences, the main focus is on the human body, how it works, how it can go wrong, and so on and so forth. So the specialisations other than cell and molecular biology include traditional medical disciplines like anatomy and physiology, and of course pharmacology, how drugs interact with the body. And neuroscience, but specifically the neuroscience of humans and to a lesser extent mammals. And people interested in biological sciences, researchers in this area, are also very interested in how we use our understanding of the body to develop therapies for diseases and to have practical applications of those. Whereas biological sciences takes a broader view of life sciences. Humans are just one species. We're an interesting species, but far from the only species. And the ways you can specialise in biological sciences reflect that. So they include ecology, which is looking at how humans fit in within the whole environment and looking, for example, at planetary health rather than human health. You can look at it that way. Evolution, which is how all life is connected and evolved from simple origins to where we are now with enormous diversity. And then areas of life sciences that specifically don't focus on humans, such as zoology or microbiology. And finally, to a much greater extent than in biomedical sciences, slightly for historical reasons in the way the subject has grown up at UCL, there's a big focus on genetics as another area that underpins all living things, but looking at how traits are transferred from one generation to the next, and also how genes control the development of cells and their function, is an area of great interest. So that's the general idea. So biomedical sciences is closely allied to medicine and ultimately to the development of therapies, but also the understanding for its own sake. And biological sciences is this slightly wider perspective and also take into account things like global warming and the planet. Okay, so those are the disciplinary differences between the two degrees. There are also some practical differences if you're thinking of applying for one or the other to do with entry requirements and also things like whether you can do a year abroad or a fourth year as part of a master's qualification integrated with the degree. So on that level, for biomedical sciences, you need to have studied biology, chemistry and maths at higher level. Whereas for biological sciences, you need to have studied biology and then either biology, chemistry or maths. But your third specialist subject at higher level or at A level, if that's the kind of qualification you're taking, could be in the humanities or a language or something else. They're still very happy with that broad-based view. However, having said that, if you think that your interest is more along the lines of biomedical sciences, but you haven't got chemistry or you haven't got maths, you've just got biology. You could still take biological sciences, but choose to specialise in one of the more biomedical areas within that degree. So that would include cell and molecular biology, but also human genetics, or there are chances to specialise along with microbiology with virology and immunology. So you can still cut from biological sciences, have a degree that leads you into areas that are very closely allied with medicine. And then finally, another difference is that with biological sciences, there is built into the degree the option to take the third year of a 4-year programme abroad, and also in all specialisations to do either a 3-year bachelor's or a 4-year integrated master's. Whereas with biomedical sciences, you can easily transfer into a degree that does offer a 4th year, such as human genetics or neuroscience or pharmacology. And you could also transfer into a degree that does offer a year abroad, such as human genetics. So those are essentially the main differences between the degrees, but as you can see, they are quite similar. There are also overlaps. And to find out more about either of them, I strongly recommend that you go to the subject-specific talks where you can ask questions and also get much more detail about both of the individual degrees.